Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. I with so many sequels, I'm really getting such an opportunity to revisit movies for the first time with audio description that I didn't get to see in theaters. I'm a blind film critic, so that's important to me. Now I'm now a blind film. I wasn't then. I saw Creed in theaters, the first one, when I still had eyesight, and since then. I did not see Creed 2 with my eyesight. That's if we're talking progress. I was uh, gracious enough to be able to see the first one and see Ryan Coogler's fantastic direction and get a feel and a vibe for the Creed story, which helped me when Creed 2 came out. Creed 2 also, when I watched that, which I'll do a review of at a later date, came at an odd time for me because it was sort of like I was like new to blindness and I didn't really know much about audio description or where to watch it, and I was just kind of picking up whatever, if it was on cable or something, I watched it. And I think it was on like one of the pay cable things at the time, and that was how I watched it. Was when it uh, came off of its theatrical and it didn't have audio description. Just anyway. So I sat and listened and enjoyed it that way. But it's, obviously a boxing movie is less interesting without audio description. This time around, we have audio description from the amazing Ron Snow. He has come in with his team at Deluxe and provided us with audio description for Creed. This is on HBO Max. This is where I watch it. I believe it's also on Amazon right now because technically they own it. I just didn't watch it on Amazon. I figured Amazon is more likely to always host the audio description, so I'll give HBO Max a shout out since they don't own the franchise. Amazon owns the franchise now, so because they own MGM, they're more inclined to put permanent audio description on things that they own. So yeah, I checked it out on HBO Max, and audio description is great. It's really good. Creed is just a great movie. It's Ryan Coogler is a fantastic director, and he's given us absolutely no reason to believe that he's not. He's one of those directors that has come out of the gate swinging. He came out of the gate swinging with Fruitvale Station and just kept going. I don't think that he has necessarily made a misstep in his career. I'm really excited for anything he does. Anytime people go, "Ooh, it's Ryan Coogler," now he's got enough stuff behind him where I'm like, yes, Ryan Coogler, I get it. For lack of a better word, I think he should at least have the same amount of excitement that Damien Chazelle seems to have for his projects. To be totally honest, they should be, when you hear the Ryan Coogler and Damien Chazelle, it should be at least the same level of excitement, if not more, for Ryan Coogler, who does not have an elephant shitting on anybody in any of his films. So, anyway, it's also a huge point for Michael B. Jordan, who is really good in this, by the way. And for the people looking for that, looking at Oscars so white, well, this could have been an opportunity to throw an Oscar nomination Michael B. Jordan's way. I think at the time it was a tough category. I'm trying to remember that year. But it's not that he was so far removed from being able to be considered for that category. He does really good work here. It's tough because he's an emotionally reserved character, so he doesn't get a whole lot of big showy moments. He gets sort of like leave me alone to angry. That's just how his character's written. His character just is, the character that grew up in foster care, and then suddenly was adopted by not his mom, but the woman who became his mom, who was a terrific Felicia Rashad, by the way. Um, and yeah, and then he just kind of moved on up in the world. Obviously, got educated, didn't fight as much, got cleaned up, got his act together, but he still wanted to fight. You know, his kids always wanted to fight. He's got fight in him. So I guess he's always been kind of closed off to the world. You know, we didn't see any scenes with him hanging out with a lot of friends at the beginning of this, and you know, he just kind of is to himself. So he doesn't really have a whole lot of time devoted to developing a range of emotions. I think that Oscar voters look for when they go, "Oh my God, this is an Oscar-worthy performance." But in the little moments when he does have an opportunity, you can see the little glimmers of there being a personality there, and I think it's a strong performance, and probably one that if we could go back and rewrite the Oscars or something like that, you know, we might find Michael B. Jordan in the Best Actor race. Stallone is also very good. Looking back on his Rocky career, and this is a role that he's lived in now. This is 7th time he's played Rocky, but it's a very different Rocky. It's a very retrospective Rocky, looking back on his life and how he lived it, and he's kind of okay with how everything turned out, and he's ready to go until this kid comes in and gives him motivation and reason to stay. You know, we see him going to the grave, and it's just a reminder of, you know, his age and where his story has taken him, and when he initially doesn't want to fight, you know, you know why, because this is Rocky, so he always wants to fight, right? He's always in it for the fight, but it's made very clear why he doesn't want to, and then all of a sudden Adonis gets him to fight. So that's good. Both of those men gave really strong performances. I really love the little moments in this film. I love the 24/7 that we take to make it all feel real, like we're watching real boxers. I enjoy the score. I think the score here, which is very reminiscent of Rocky, but it also incorporates its own thing. It feels like a new. It feels something came out in 2015. It feels like a 2015 updated version of Rocky's track. It doesn't, you know, it pays homage while also looking forward to the future of what Creed could be. This is that sort of willing to break off into something else. One of the things that helps us bring new music in, of course, is Bianca's character. The character of Bianca, played by Tessa Thompson in this movie, and how she deals with music and how she deals with her deafness. At first, I questioned why, because having seen this movie, I think this is my third time, actually. I think I listened to it once since being blind, but I did see it once in theaters. I remembered her character had hearing loss and was wearing a hearing aid. And when it's addressed, the first time we see it, it's mentioned in the audio description that she messes with something in her ear, and we don't know what it is. It doesn't just identify it as being a hearing aid, even though it's pretty obviously a hearing aid that she's walking around with, you know. But then, like, in the next scene, it addresses it, and it says, he asks her about it, and she says it's a hearing aid. So from that point on, so I guess, yeah, if you don't reveal it because you know what's about to come, You know that there's about to be a conversation where you go, what is this? I also don't know. I don't know that necessarily, um, not, I don't know that it would have hurt to say it was a hearing aid. Uh, anyway, but I guess that's a big dramatic reveal. It's a hearing aid. Because I remember watching it and being like, oh, it's a hearing aid. It wasn't like a. And then he asks her about it, and then instead of. It's like, yes, she says it's a hearing aid, but she also says why she has it, and her prognosis and stuff. So, there's something. But, anyway, I had a great time with Creed. I still think this is a great film. I think it's my favorite film in the franchise. I have not seen every Rocky film, so I don't know if that's. I don't hold me to but of the ones that I've seen, I say I love Creed. Um, I haven't seen Creed 3 yet because I'm waiting for that to I'm waiting for that to come home. Basically, I watch a lot of things so that I can make sure I have audio description. I don't have to deal with the shenanigans of movie theaters and does it work? Is it on? Keep having to walk back and forth to complain to the person at customer service. It doesn't work. It's not on. I used to work in movie theaters. I have zero faith. By the way, from having known that most people have no idea what to do. The troubleshooting on that, I guarantee, from most movie theater people are just turning it off and turning it back on again. That is it. Or this fiddling with the box. I don't know. Does it just charge? Does it have batteries? Most people don't know. I was never trained. I worked for 4 different chains and nobody ever trained me on those fucking boxes. And I was management, so no. And I was projectionist too. No, nobody has any idea. I think there's like a small, very small, like 1% of people that might have a clue. Otherwise, it's just trial and error, and you get lucky, and they're like, "Hey, it works. We fixed it." How? I don't know. But we fixed it. There you go. So anyway, yeah, just I don't usually mess with it. It takes a lot of work to go to the theater when you're blind with Uber and everything. So anyway, yeah, I know it's gonna come to Amazon. They own it. It'll be there eventually, and or they'll license it to HBo Max, which is clearly running the other Creed films, and it'll appear on HBo Max at some point. I don't know. I don't really care. I'll see it. I know I will later this year on a streaming service. It's early enough in the year that I will see this movie before the end of the year. So yeah, I love Creed. Ryan Coogler's direction is fantastic. His choice to make Adonis not win the fight is such a strong choice, because it's so realistic that it would be so cheesy for Adonis to have won that fight when he's only won one other fight. You know what I'm saying? Like his record is 1-0. The other dude's record is like 17 I don't know. It's some ridiculous. I think the second guy. I think actually the guy he beat was like 17-0. I think the other guy's higher than that. I can't remember his record, but it was something high. He's the champion. He's the undefeated one, the one that's about to go to jail and wants to get one last fight in. And yeah, it was good that he made it all the way to the end. It was called by the judges. It was a decision. It was a split decision, which means somebody voted for him. So it gives you all of the prospects of, this dude's gonna be the real deal, and it sets you up for Creed 2 of being okay, so is this where he wins? Like you really feel like you're being held back, waiting for a win. Like there's gonna be another Creed, there's gonna be another fight. This kid's gonna win. This kid has earned his Creed name. He's feeling his father. He's feeling that name. And it's a nice moment. So, I'm a big fan of this film. Ron Snow's audio description is actually really fantastic. In the fight scenes, he tries to give you as much boxing jargon as possible, um, and to get you in the fight. It's never going to feel 100% the same. It's never going to feel like you're actually watching, you know, the swings and the hits and the punch to the face and the you know, like the whole, like, when the connection, you see like the liquid like spraying out of somebody's mouth, the blood or whatever, you know. It's so hard to get all of that, like the shot. You know, how did Ryan Coogler shoot this? Because it's a beautifully shot film. Ryan Coogler does not, he directs with intention in every single frame. That's all I can really say about Ryan Coogler's direction. So that scene with that they reference with with Adonis running and the bikers, I remembered that. It was iconic. I didn't even remember where it took place in the movie. I was like, oh, when's this going to happen? And the first time that a biker talked to him, I was like, are we about to have that scene? Is that what that is? I'd forgotten where it was in the movie. But it's like such an iconic scene. When you see it, it looks so cool. Yeah, it's a fantastic film with a fantastic fantastic director, and a fantastic cast. And it's easy to write it off as just being another boxing movie or another Rocky movie, but I think it makes its own thing. It makes its own way in the world, and I'm gonna give Creed an A. It's what I would have given the film the first time around. I believe it's what I gave the film. Actually, my review is probably up on the website. Didn't look at it. I try not to be swayed by things, but I feel pretty secure in the fact that Creed is an A. I don't know what problems I could have had with it the first time around, but yeah, it ages nicely. What is this movie like? It's 2023, so it's like 8 years old now, going on 8. So, yeah, if you haven't seen Creed, please watch it, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and trying to push that subscriber count upwards. Let your friends know about me. I have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at MacTheMovieGuy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description, where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. And it'll let you know what else Ron Snow has done. He's not from Game of Thrones, guys. Neither am I. Obviously, we're actually descendants of characters from the Game of Thrones universe. Ron Snow, Jon Stark. So, but you know, it's been a long time since our descendants in those of the Game of Thrones projects. It's a long line to get to another Snow and another Stark. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will review something else for you guys, and see you on the other side.